The student is ready, and he jumps out of this naked and jacked. I mean, come on. What else do you want? Come to me, my warriors! It has finally happened. One of the most bashed, maligned, destroyed comic books of the 90s is now here on this channel. May I introduce to all of you, my AKA Padders, Warrior. On the heel of WrestleMania, the most hated wrestling-related comic book ever created. Which is odd, because it's the best wrestling comic book ever created. Let's go.
All right, I'm here with the Warrior. How you doing, brother?
Hey, Phil. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for having me today.
Just tell me a bit about the comic book. This is a new thing for you, eh?
Yeah, it has. Actually, not so new. We worked on the first issue for about 8 months, but the whole project is new in this evolution of what has come to be the warrior outside the ring, or how I live my life.
Now, I was looking through the book, and it seems like the character of the Warrior uses his head more than his muscles, you know?
Yeah, you know, the attraction to the Ultimate Warrior thing is and always has been, is his level of intensity. The Ultimate Warrior character is the guy, somebody has already crossed his line, he explodes.
The comic book, compared to how important it is to you compared to the wrestling, say?
The comic book is more important to me. One of the disciplines of living your life in the way of a warrior, and I call it destrucity. It's about making a truce between your destiny and your reality.
All right, Warrior, tell me about the comic book. The art or writing?
James Callahan does the artwork on it, man, and like I said, we worked on #1 for 8 months, and one of the reasons was finding an artist that grasped it, because a comic book can be told without even words. A good comic book artist can tell a story just with the pictures. You don't even have to have words. I've been talking comic book my whole career as the Ultimate Warrior, you know, as I do my interviews and stuff like that. So it was really not that difficult to move it into a comic book form, you know.
I'm going to challenge the Warrior, and I'm going to say some Warrior type advice in under 10 seconds.
Okay.
Right there.
Warrior type of advice. The most important message I can give to anybody is to follow your intuition. It's the same thing in everything anybody does in life. It's longer than 10 seconds.
Yeah, we keep it going, it's good.
You know, I believe in what I'm doing. I'm going to go for it. I don't care if I never make a dime. Being passive within yourself, but if anybody crosses your line, get aggressive about defending it.
All right, well, you lost the challenge, but we got some
hey,
great
brother,
words from
I appreciate it.
All right.
I couldn't have done it in 10 seconds, man.
I know, that's why I asked.
I couldn't even beat Andre the Giant in 10 seconds.
My friends! AKA Pad here, AKA Pad69, Peter A. DeLuca, and known throughout Philadelphia, PA, Europe, and the vast multiverse as your eclectic one. It's getting late. It's late on Friday. I have yet to do a Friday drop. And why is that? Well, we got a lot of things coming up. So I spent a chunk of my day stockpiling content, doing a lot of pre-recording for episodes like this and the podcast. A chunk of today was spent reading what I thought was a complete run of this 1996 comic book, Warrior, published by Warrior. It's Warrior in the credits because James Hedwig, I believe is his name, he legally changed his name to Warrior to use the term Warrior in a lawsuit with WWE at the time. This is kind of between, I think, 92 and 94. 2 years after that, he wins. He retains the name. He can use the name Warrior, and WWE brings him back. And along the way, all right, and this is one of the highest selling comic books of the 90s that no one talks about. And why is that? Well, a part of the agreement of him coming back in 96 was the promotion of this book. WWE, or WWF, Vince McMahon at the time, printed millions of these, and they gave them out. One of the reasons why this is so prevalent isn't because comic shops ordered high on this. It's because it was readily distributed from city to city as a WWE toured in 1996. I would roughly say this has got to have a print run in the multiple of millions, 2 to 4 million. I tried digging up something, and it's kind of all over the place. There's a couple podcast episodes, the Chris Jericho podcast that has people on the show that kind of do speak of some of the numbers, but there's nothing significant. But we're always told it was insanely high. So I spent today reading issues 1, 2, and 3. I thought it was a 3-issue run before it self-canceled, and it's actually 4 issues with a Christmas issue, which is amazing, by the way. So I was upset. I was kind of pissed with myself. I wasted the whole day reading and memorizing this, and then I got into the introductions. His, we can kind of say his forewords here and afterwards here these are amazing. They're meaty. A lot of them go into the actual production, the process, a lot of the decision making of the comics. So here in issue 2, he gives James over here, the warrior himself, he writes this explanation of what issue 1 was. And it derives from him meeting with his agent and this other guy, and they're in a French restaurant. This whole thing breaks out. The French police show up. After he tells that story, he gets into the reasoning of what we are seeing in Warrior issue 1. Now, if you go across the internet, there is no YouTube channel, there's no Reddit post, there's nothing that gives this comic book any credit. This comic book loves to be hated. And a lot of times when I see that, I start to push back. And the Peter Tingle, the AKAPAD Tingle, gets all ready to go. And I do a deep dive and, some critical thinking. I know a lot of you guys don't think I do some of that. So I want to show off what James was intending with this issue. I feel it's experimental. I feel it's progressive, and I feel like it's truly him swinging for the fences and doing something new in the world of comics. Something I feel a lot of first-time creators do. There's a lot of first-time creator tropes in these very pages, and I absolutely love it because I feel like I'm guilty of those tropes myself. So let's hit the drawing table and have a true look at Warrior. And here we go. Here's a stack of wrestling books. People, don't trust any YouTuber unless they have a Crypt action figure at their side at all times. What can I say? We love the 90s. We respect, we honor the 90s. So I'm just so upset because I spent time reading everything in this pile today. Upcoming episode, we're going to have Antarctic Press. Sweet logo shift, by the way. Old logo versus new logo. I always like the old logo way more. Hawk and Animal. People totally forget Hawk and Animal had their own book at one time. I did this way back in my Twitter live stream days. Upcoming, though. We're going to discuss that, and then tomorrow we will be showcasing this because usually on Saturdays I like to do a showcase. I like to bring things to you people that are kind of like not comic book related, but we can say comic book adjacent. This is one amazing book here. We're going to be doing that. So, simile metaphor, right? Do you guys see? See? Come on. It's called iconography. Anyway, it's just things that are that resonate, that look the same. And the Ultimate Warrior's face, the makeup and the hair, it's beyond legendary. And this is why Warrior is one of my absolute favorite wrestlers. He is my top. It's like him and Ric Flair, but the whole Warrior presence, his original run. People, when he left, I left. I really never came back in '96. I didn't come back until the NWO and ECW were on my local television. ECW playing late night here in Philly, from right here, like in that direction to south, from South Philly. Yeah, but then once I came back, I kind of never went away. So, Warrior 2 and Warrior 3. I'm thinking this was our last issue. But, yeah, we can see people bash these books. And it's, to me, it's very difficult to bash these books because there's so much effort put into them. Great logo, great company logo here. Or like, you know, what we have for our letterbox. Nice design. Some of the, you know, he's very wordy. Like over here in the Christmas issue, we kind of have a failure of, you know, this is not very legible, and it's basic design decisions that prevent that. I get it. Sometimes things are rushed. Sometimes things are quick, and you have to do something. But it is what it is. But we get like there's just a lot of goodness here. There really is. I mean, like, look at some of this. I mean, for a first effort, a guy that has no business being in comics, making a comic, having good artwork, banger coloring, banger lettering. The lettering for this is phenomenal. I kind of put it up on a level to the Kiss Psycho Circus from McFarlane, because I view the Kiss Psycho Circus as the absolute top tier when it comes to lettering, 90s lettering, if you want to kind of give it a little bit of a caveat. And a little bit of what I mean, well, some of it gets into this issue. Because see, we have these different like word balloons here, or captions, right? Like these ones are red, these ones are yellow. And as we march along, and this is just like an origin story. So in the issue 2 intro here, we're gonna make that visible. And I'm all over the place, people, because I literally just kind of like put some of this together. So it's a brain dump. The captions represent his inner self and his like outer self. He explicitly says that here. And then the captions are color coordinated. Yellow means specifically the title of the comic. Blue, him, that's right, character, warrior, and real life person. Red, generically speaking, as in he was a great warrior but not the one. To further, first and foremost, the warrior is being challenged upon the terrain of testament to become the ideal of what a warrior is as a vision to others, i.e. for anything to become something, the idea of it has to be brought to life and simply exist. And okay, same thing with the warrior. He is being challenged to become the first one, the idea, the definition of warrior, so to speak. First one to live his beliefs. His doing so is the very reason others can live. Warrior is being tested in 8 disciplines. Now, the telling of the story happens to be from 2 points of view. The first is a take action aggressive outward expression. How much butt can you kick? Point of view. And secondly, introspectively. So it's the physical and the mental. And like this is, he tells a great story here. So a lot of this pushback, I have to say, the people that bash this, like, and we're just talking about issue 1 here. The people that bash this, they want to come in with a level of heat. But he kind of like even has this inner conflict with his father that kind of becomes outer conflict with his father. We foreshadow issues 2 and 3 right here, by the way, guys. I can't say if he foreshadows issue 4. We don't have it. I didn't know issue 4 existed until tonight. But he goes through this trial, right? The student is ready, and he jumps out of this naked and jacked. I mean, come on. What else do you want? But yeah, and then it's cloaked figures. This is very similar. Let me pause this real quick. I want to show you just something that this reminds me of. So I just had to go to I keep a little bit of a index file of upcoming and what to do next. Back from the Dead, The Adventures of Superman. Essentially Superman 500. Okay? This is what I consider one of the greatest Superman issues and comic issues of all time. Jerry Ordway, Tom Grummett. Some great zipper tones in here. But it's essentially like Pa Kent travels to the afterworld, to the nether realm, to rescue the soul of his son. Right? Not his biological son. And they kind of fight off these, like, right? These shrouded demon dudes. And it's a representation, like it's metaphorical. And we get the same thing here. Whoa, we just lost 2 pages. Nice. That's when you know you read comics, when they fall apart like that. Yeah, so we get the Warrior. He goes through this, like, again, this, like, trial and tribulation to emerge as the one, right? We get the ribbons, we get the makeup, the hair. He's in uniform. And then we kind of jump into today with a dude that looks just like Sentinel from Youngblood, by the way. And, like, the story begins, right? And we kind of that's what leads into issue 2. That's how we get into the modern world for issue 2. So it's a story, and issue 1 is a solid, like, this is him with his singlet. This is him as himself, as a grown adult. And when you read, again, the value of self-worth, the value of challenges, what you have to do, the adversity you, like, it's almost like to overcome things in life, you develop your own methodology of defeating them. This is deep stuff. Destruct City gives a definition here, and I kind of have a feeling some of the long-term, and this is, again, like him, like, shedding his mortal self. This is him in WWE, and he's becoming Warrior here. And when he leaves the company, when he leaves the fame, the fortune, and everything, he, number one, has to fight them. And number two, he needs to discover himself so he knows what he is by the time he comes out of this. The coloring's phenomenal. I think that if people want to, if they want to come after the anatomy, I think it's there. It is a style of the time. We know the era. This probably looks like a modified, right? This looks like a Wolverine pose here. This could be a swipe. But we get the Warrior becoming the Warrior. And it's a great metaphysical journey. It's almost like a H.P. Lovecraftian-ish, where he, like, kind of comes through the older gods, the elder gods. And through the elder gods, he is transported and transformed into something else. I mean, this is a great pose here. Him running. So, I don't know, AKAPADers. The captions are, there's a legend for them. They're in the introduction of issue 2. These are of clear intent here. They represent different things. Completely experimentational, ballsy, I dare say great. I look at this differently now. Because, I don't know, I had a revelation. I understand it. These are cheap. I recommend getting these. I never seen issue 4 in the wild. I'm going to have to get that off of eBay. And then we're going to do a giant complete retrospective. We're going to do 1 through 4 plus the Christmas issue. Christmas issue is just pinups, but there's some notable. I mean, if you guys just want, I mean, Bart Sears here did this one. Where is it? Like, look at this Bart Sears, and you're just like, why do people bash Bart Sears? Why do they come after this guy? Bart Sears, in my list, is one of the greatest anatomy artists within comics of all time. So we're going to get a little deeper, but I just wanted to kind of, I don't know. I feel like it has to be said. This is not garbage. This is AKAPAD approved. It helps reading the need to knows. I mean, it's very clear here. Always believe, yes. But it helps reading this and then maybe going back and forth. But then that's no different than any running commentary of a book or explanation of a book that you might see on social media, or what social media enables from our creators, right? We're allowed to give a running commentary to our work for particular reasons. Number one, to understand. Ayn Rand had this problem with the fountainhead, and she wrote Atlas Shrugged. All right, AKAPADers, rock and roll.